Video's running. Here you go. So, bamboo preparation. Today, I went ahead and cut this one. This is not what we want to do in the future. When you cure a pole of bamboo, you do not want to have it be split at all. And if you're cutting bamboo and you see that the bamboo has a big bug hole knot in it, you don't want to cut it either, because when you cure it, this is like siphoning gas from a tank. It's capillary action that makes the sugar go out and pulls the solution in. If it has a big incongruency in the cane, it oftentimes doesn't cure, or cures partially because it doesn't pull on an even pull. That being said, when you harvest your bamboo, look at this mold here up close, this white bit of mold. This white bit of mold is what lets you know that it's ripe, that it's mature. This is how you know whether it's good to use or not for construction. It needs to have these sort of, they're called lichens. The white stuff is what you want to look for. When it's just black, then it's still in process. Okay, that lets you know it's also probably 6 years, maybe even 8 years or older. Most people say 4, but that's for the videos, not for reality. That is a misconception. Bamboo does get to its maturity sometimes in 4 years, but oftentimes not, because it depends on the ground, the nutrients, the water, all the things above. Now, let's walk down to here where we're going. Another thing I want to say, the bamboo can be hooked up to the tubes, to the boots I call them, from top or bottom. Doesn't matter. Very important, because that will be a question in your mind when you go to do this, because oftentimes one end is larger than the other, and you
just use the size that fits.
Get it on where you can, no worries. Another thing very important, you have to hook the bamboo up to the boot before 4 hours are up. 4 hours is your time limit, because that's when the pores of the bamboo close.
Any particular moon cycle?
Yes, you want to go ahead and cut bamboo 4 days, luna menguante.
4 days before the luna menguante.
After the luna menguante.
Okay.
4 days after. And ideally, just a second, Hart. Ideally, what you want to do is, ideally, it would be to harvest it in the morning with a lamp on your head. Do not do that. You can get cut, you can step on stick. It's not a good idea. But as early in the morning as possible. Why? Because in the nighttime, all the sugar comes down to the root. What we're trying to do when we cure is take the sugar out. Not what we're trying. What we're doing is pushing the sugar out, replacing with salts. That's the reason that the bugs eat bamboo and any wood. They like the sugar, just like us humans. I love sugar.
Yeah.
So, in the morning, what happens, when the sun hits the plant, all the sugar goes up to the leaf for photosynthesis of the leaf. It uses the sugar to react with the sun, all that, make chlorophyll and grow.
Right.
So that's why we harvest early in the morning, and that's why we harvest for these menguante. That's when the sugar is the least in the plant. That being understood, let's walk down here and we'll get started on our boot. Good morning to all. It's actually worked out better because I didn't have to harvest so much, and this is a smaller, easier way to do it. And I can also explain and brought into your awareness about the craft and all that.
Yeah.
That's why it kind of happened. This process that we're about to do is called boucherie. This was shown to me actually a year and a half ago by a good friend. I'm not sure what boucherie means. I want to look it up and find out. I feel that's the French word, but I don't know why. So, another very important thing to remember. You want to have your bamboo at least on a 30-degree angle. More is better.
More erect, better. More.
Yes. This angle here is too extreme for me. Why? Because it's hard to walk uphill and hard to put your boots on. So what I do when I do this is I put piece of bamboo going across, and I just lay mine also at the other end. At the butt of the bamboo, where the boot is not connected, you want to have it up off the ground at least yay high, so that you can go easily check. And so you can also see when the water is dripping. It has that space up off the ground so you can see the drip.
Really?
If within an hour the bamboo does not start to drip by itself, and I mean drip pretty good, click, click, pretty much water, then it probably won't cure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
whatever reason. This is not an exact science, and I do not think I'll ever have it figured out as an exact science because bamboo talks. Some of it just doesn't work. Some canes take up to 2 days. So if it's not curing and you got a limited amount of bamboo, just keep your boot full and leave it for up to 2 days. After 2 days, I would not keep trying.
Yeah.
But I've had them take as long as up to 2 days on me. Usually,
Do you ever leave the leaves on them when you're doing it?
No.
Never.
no, because that's a waste of your solution. It's going to go through every part of the bamboo. Don't do that.
Okay.
Usually only takes up no more than 4 hours to cure a bamboo. That's about as quick as it happens, 4
Wow,
hours.
that's
And
amazing.
in 4 hours, maybe a little less, it should be completely done. Can take up to 2 days. Okay, that being said, so up off the ground in the top, up off the ground in the back, at least 30-degree angle.
What's that?
Rio, where is he?
I believe he's down there with those guys.
Okay, so this is what I did just here to get it up off the ground a little bit and help myself. At this end, of course, we're going to use this end because it's smaller.
Okay.
Sometimes the smallest end is the bottom, sometimes the top. I have decided when I do mine, small bamboo, I buy a brand new motorcycle end tube, the cheapest I can find. Why?
Brand new one.
Yes, why? Doesn't have to be. I worked a long time using recycled ones, but I got tired of having my rubber bands that I make snap from being old when I've got it almost tied. I got tired of putting the boot on, creating the boot and everything, and then having it have 2 or 3 holes in it.
Yeah.
All those things included, I've decided to use a brand new one. Because the boots, once you make a boot, you can use it for many times. For years, probably. If you keep it out of the sun.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the boot we got here. This is my prototype. This is the one that I use. This has been modified from what I was taught to do because it's a process and I've learned more and I've bettered the design since the one that he did. The design that's been modified is I use a 1 meter tube. Why being? Because a 1 meter tube can almost completely cure a piece of bamboo without having to refill it.
Okay.
I started doing, he showed me to do boots this big. I had to stay up sometimes all night and fill my boots every 15, 30 minutes to keep them full. Because I was doing canes of 12 meters of Dendrocalamus hasper that sucked a lot of solution. This will not cure a Dendrocalamus hasper of 12 meters. You probably have to fill it 3 or 4 times. But it will cure a cane like this, which is 9 meters long with one filling. So that being said, I take the boot between my legs. I always put my sawhorse in the one below so that it's comfortable for me to straddle my legs when I'm working. Not too high, not way down low, so I'm bent over, it hurts my back too much. So right here I almost sit on my cane when I'm trying to put the boot on.
Right.
I also, when I put my cane onto the sawhorse, first thing I do is I take one of these straps and I tie it to the sawhorse so that when I'm struggling trying to put this on, it's not slipping back and forth and fucking with me the whole time.
Right.
A lot of energy lost. And when you're harvesting a lot of bamboo by yourself with a machete and that sort of thing, your time and energy is valuable.
What about with the chainsaw? Is it
It's recommended more to do it with a chainsaw.
Oh yeah.
This I cut with a bamboo saw that should, if you buy a bamboo saw, make sure it has the shark's teeth. One going this way, one going that way. That's what cuts bamboo well. And it has to be in a curve. I can show you an example in a minute. Oftentimes, if I'm working with big bamboo, that is too big for my boot, which will be almost in this case, I just take a machete and I sharpen it like a pencil a little bit at the end. Don't worry about not getting it. It will suck its own water through and make it all happen. The bamboo is a living, loving.
And if you're using a piece of
Friend.
bamboo that's a lot wider, that's 4 times wider than that, like a big.
I use
wider-
car inner tubes.
Okay.
And the car inner tube's a little more difficult. Why? Because when I go and put a car inner tube on a 6-inch diameter pole, the car inner tube is about like 9 inches. So then I have to, once I put it on, I have to double it over.
Right.
I'm going to stop screaming. We're close. Then I have to double it over. And I cannot use these either. Because they usually don't sell them or they're too expensive for me to get it into my budget to make it work
Right.
and make any money. So, this is just a metal gasa. Buy it anywhere. I usually get galvanized so it doesn't rust, so it lasts you longer to help the earth. Okay. Many cases when I'm doing the car ones, it doesn't look like this. You don't see this because I first put this on and then I have to wrap it because when I fold it over, it goes like this. There's a bunch of extra, so it creates an overlap.
Right, right,
Which needs to be tightened down extremely tight and up into here a little bit so it doesn't leak and sieve on me.
right.
So, if this was set up correctly, it would be a lot easier. Like I'm explaining now, you'll see why. And I'm going to leave it at that. Why? So I want you to understand that it does not have to be over a bunch.
Okay.
It's not so important. What is important to think about, in this case it's fine because we don't have too much of that. But if it was like this, it's not good because what you're trying to do is get the solution to this part of the bamboo, not
Gotcha.
to the inside.
Okay.
It does not absorb out like that. It absorbs down through the cane. So you want to make sure the liquid is touching the meat on the front of the cane,
Okay.
right? That was it.
And it
So-
goes. Then it goes through the nodes. And
Yes.
then it just.
The
You don't-
cells of the bamboo are open for 4 hours from the time that you harvest it, and no more. So do not wait and do it 10 minutes before 4 hours is up. Do it
Immediately.
an hour before, right? That is good enough. See how there's a little bit here?
Yeah.
I don't worry too much about that. I try to go ahead and get it as good as I can because I'm a perfectionist. I'm a warrior. Light warrior spirit. So, but that right there I wouldn't worry about.
Okay.
Remember, always put your gasa onto this before you put it on the cano, so you got to pop it off and redo it.
Right.
Things I've learned along the way with a lot of trial and error. So,
You never use the gasa on the bamboo itself, then?
that's what I'm just saying. Yes.
Okay. Put that on first, and then
Put the gasa onto the inner tube first,
Yeah, and then.
then put it on here and slide it down. Otherwise, you'll find out that, and I've done it 3 or 4 times and had to put the gasa on again 3 or 4 times because I'd do it and I go, oh yeah, and then I would take it out and then I would do it again without the gasa. So it's something I've learned by trial and error. That's why I said that. So, once I got it on, metal gasa on here, I've also done it many times with no metal gasa here. You don't need a metal gasa. Once I've got it on like that, I take my rubber band that I cut out of car end tubes or these,
Yeah.
because with one motorbike inner tube, you can make at least 2 good sized boots like these.
Yeah.
And remember, the boot could only be this long.
Yeah.
Because all it is creating the union between the bamboo and your
Right.
PVC. It's not important that it be long. I use it like this because that gives me ability to move it
Flex it.
around, to flex, to, that's about the length that I think is good.
Okay.
When I tie, I do it like this and I always leave quite a bit because that's your tying. You need some left when you tie. Once I do it like that, I just stretch it as good as I can, put it around, kind of hold it, stretch it as good as I can. If I'm doing it, if I can overlap it, that always helps a little bit. And once I get it over here, you'll see this works very easy because it holds itself.
Right.
You don't have to tie a really tight knot.
Right.
None of that. And when you untie these knots, the way to do it is like this. You just pull on one of the ropes and it slips, does its own thing. You don't have to struggle here with both of these, both of the ends. Just grab one of them, and oftentimes when it's tied, it's going to be tied very close like this because you've used all your rubber, or you should have, like that. And so what you do, you just pull it and it snaps off.
Yeah.
Things I've learned along the way that I'm imparting to my warrior brother. Very important things. So once that's done, I oftentimes have this end tied.
It's tied up
'Cause it-
there for why? Just so you don't.
Because it looks like this. Imagine this. Imagine this. I've got post down in that post, one going across to hold it up off the ground. Yes? At this end, I've got post, and then I've got post and post. This one being much higher than these. So this one here is going to be lower. That's where you sit your bamboo. What is this one for? This one is to put this up and lay it onto it and tie this to it. Do you understand?
Put it onto it and then tie
Look,
it.
I'm going to get a good example here. So, this is here like this. This.
Imaginary.
Yes, so these are like these. This is about how, this is it right here. I've got a pole going across here and a pole going across here.
And that's a 30
My bamboo
degree.
comes and lays here like this. And this is my boot. Look, this is my boot. This one that's bent, broke. My bamboo lays here. Once I connect my boot, then my boot is flexible and wants to fall, wants to do all this stuff. So I just lift it up and lay it on the top of that one.
Okay.
And I tie it to that one also with the rubber band. These are both tied. The bamboo to this one and the boot to this one. Then is all I have to do. I have all my hands free. I can fill my bucket without my boot slipping, without all that things.
Right.
Very easy. If you do it the way I'm telling you, you'll have a great experience. Very easy. So once I've got that done, this is sitting up there, is all I do is I have a bucket filled with borax and ácido bórico. The people do different solution concentrations. Has to, in my opinion, be at least 15% or greater.
Okay.
Okay, to get a good cure. In this moment, I'm not crystal clear on what there is a solution for it, and it's 1 to 2. 2 of one, 1 of the other. You're gonna have 2 sacks, borax and ácido bórico, right? You do 2 scoops of one and do 1 of the other. Okay, I will send you that information, or I will look it up online.
All right.
Which is the 2 and which is the 1. I will also, when I get some borax and ácido bórico, you can make a trip down here and pick it up for me. I'll give you a certain amount, some that I'll give you to be able to do this. Because it's hard to find.
Yeah.
Or you can ask me and I will send you the information of the company you can buy it from in Costa Rica.
All right.
And that's
That'd
also
be
something
sweet.
that took me a while to get figured out, and now I have it. That being said, once this is up, is all I do is fill it with my solution and let it be. In the first hour, 45 minutes, I come and I check quite often to see how much is sucked down. When you first put it on, it draws a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it'll go down like this much within the first 15 minutes. It starts to pull pretty good. In my solution, I always put blue food coloring. Blue, fluorescent blue, works best in my experience. Yellow, do not try. Red doesn't work very good. Green does not work very good. It works okay. The blue works best.
Okay.
Comes out bright blue at the other end, there's no mistaking. The food coloring I'm talking about is regular food coloring. Any store, when you go into a pulperia, you go to the section where they have all your condiments. They
Yeah.
have oregano, they have sodio bicarbonato, they have, and in some part of there, they'll have a whole bunch of colored packets of food coloring.
Right,
It's
right.
edible. So nothing special. I put that in my solution to give it coloring and then put it in the boot, and that's it. Now, when you're done taking it off the boot and your cane is cured, right? Be aware that when you strip your boot off, of course, you're going to have a bunch of solution in your cane. If you've cut the cane and there's still this much of the knot open, you're going to have all that solution. All the solution's still in your boot. So have a bucket ready so you can not, if you're working with borax and ácido bórico, so you can save that solution and reuse it. This does not get old. You can also catch the drip coming out the end and reuse that if you want.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You can reuse it many times. It starts to stink after.
That has more sugar in it when it's on the way out though.
No, because it pushes, the sugar comes out first and this comes in behind it and refills.
Okay.
It's not a mixture. You will, it's only when I'm talking about collecting it from the end is when you realize that your cane has already cured and it's blue, but there's
Okay.
still solution dripping.
Gotcha.
Not catching the clear liquid that comes out
Right.
in the beginning. You could drink that, wouldn't be a problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Might be a bit bitter, might give you a bit of a stomach ache, but it wouldn't be a problem. Another thing that I wanted to say, when you're cutting your bamboo and you're getting ready, this whole thing, and you're cutting your bamboo, when you first cut your bamboo, oftentimes it'll be 3 times heavier in the beginning because it's full of water. So if you're not going to cure like this and you only have 4 hours to get it on, just leave it standing up off the ground and it will drain all the water by itself. It'll drain out through its own cane and drip right out on the ground. You come and get it 8 hours later and the thing is light as can be because all the water's come out and it'll drip right out of its own cane. Because if you're not trying to cure like this, you can also leave it standing.
Just cut the bamboo, leave it standing.
Cut the bamboo with a machete. Cut it here, cut it here, cut it here, cut it here. And when you go through that last little chunk, it'll sit down on itself, boom, onto the same bamboo, like that.
Right.
And it'll drain by itself. If you leave it like that for like, I think like 18 days, 12 to 18 days standing in the same position, that's called a vinagrado. And that's one of the ways that the Indians cure naturally with no products.
Really?
It's a way to cure the bamboo as well. And it goes through its own process with the vertical way it's standing with the water dripping out. It's drying by itself because a lot of the sugars are already coming out as well. That's one of the ways to do it. That's the way the Indians, the indigenous that I work with, showed me how to harvest the bamboo. They don't cure the bamboo like I do. I'm teaching them. I'll let you know how it goes with my saltwater experiments. These two here are cured with only saltwater.
All right.
These two here are the ones that I set up here and cured. As you can see, it's all blue.
Yeah.
That's what it should look like.
From salt water?
And, yes.
Really?
Blue, saltwater and just the food coloring.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see. I'm going to put a roof over on the greenhouse over there and see how long it lasts. I have a friend in Parrita who did some cabins with only saltwater. He does it submerged in saltwater for 3 months.
Wow.
In a big vat with weights. I stayed in the cabins. They've been there for 6 years, roughly. And they don't have one termite and they look beautiful. That's why my interest in this. Because I live on the beach and this could happen easily here.
Yeah.
This bamboo is called Bambusa vulgaris. The yellow and red and green bamboo, that we have in Costa Rica is called Bambusa vulgaris. It is the worst kind to use. But all bamboo can be used. And depending on what we're building, this could last up to 3 or 4 years actually cured. Or maybe more, maybe up to 8. And if it's well varnished and kept good hat, meaning
Good roof.
meaning the height of the building, you want to have at least half the height of the building as overhang. So that when it rains, it does not hit any of your wall.
Right.
With a good hat and good boots, meaning up off the ground so it doesn't get wet either, it will last your lifetime. Your children can stay in the same house if they keep those things in order, right? Good hat, good boots. And it's like any hardwood, you need to give it some love and attention every year. Wipe it down once in a while because it gets moldy. It's one of the things I've noticed with bamboo lots here because it's so humid, it gets this gray kind of mold on it.
Yeah, yeah.
What I do is I wipe it down with a little bit of paint thinner, gets it off really easy. Rag with just a little bit of paint thinner over the whole thing, but that dries the bamboo out a little bit too, kind of hurts it. Good thing to use is aceite de coco mixed with aceite de linaza.
Oh, yeah.
That it loves. And that is work proven form, not from me experimenting, but a proven form to tend your bamboo on a yearly basis. Every 3 to 6 months is recommended. Those are things I'm talking out of intuition, not out of knowledge from a book. But my intuition is oftentimes correct and hardly ever wrong. So, that being said, you're welcome.
Woohoo! Thank
Oh.
you.
Any questions?
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Put your comments and questions underneath this.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
And don't forget to hit the like button. Do you like it? Okay. So that's it.